Good evening, and thank you, Assistant Superintendent, for attending my presentation on why I believe we should bring a one-on-one initiative to our school. Good evening, Assistant Superintendent, and thank you for attending my presentation on why we should bring a one-on-one initiative to our school. And about the one-on-one initiative, I would like to provide some background information on e-learning. E-learning is nothing new. It's technology that has evolved over the last several decades, from overhead projectors to VCRs to projectors and smartboards, etc. But basically, when we're talking about e-learning, we're talking about a classroom setting where the teacher is in front of the classroom and either the students are looking at a video that are being projected or they have a laptop that they are at a desk using. Before I get to the one-on-one initiative, I wanted to give some background information on e-learning. E-learning is nothing new. It's technology that has been used in the classroom as it has evolved over the last several decades, from your overhead projectors to film strips to VCRs to a smartboard projector. When we're typically thinking of an e-learning setting, we're thinking of a step away from a traditional classroom, but where the teacher is still in the front of the classroom giving the information, perhaps on a projector smartboard, and the students might have a laptop at their desk. Mobile learning is where the students have the access to a device, a handheld device such as an iPad or a tablet or a smartphone, and they can therefore move around the room and they can work at their own pace for the learning. Learning can also be done inside and outside of the classroom, at home, at the library, etc. So obviously the impact of mobile devices have had a huge impact on society as a whole and on education. We have seen the numbers of wearable technology such as the Apple phone and things of this nature, where students have these devices, they have more accessibility to it, they see their parents having accessibility to it, as well as our teachers also have a lot of their own smartphones and mobile devices. So many jobs today, you're going to need to have some kind of mobile device in order to do your job, regardless if it's on your smartphone or on your tablet. The impact of mobile devices has been drastic. It has changed the world we live in. Terminology that was foreign a few years ago, a decade ago, has become common everyday usage, such as Google something. So 86% of the general public have some kind of cell phone, smartphone device. Students see their parents on these type of devices at home. They see them on the television, etc. They have penetrated our society. The impact of mobile devices on our society has been huge. Most of us could not survive a day without our mobile devices. 86%, some of the population have some type of smartphone device, etc. That does not include tablets, etc. It has permeated our society and our daily lives. So really the difference between e-learning and m-learning is e-learning is in a set. So what is the difference between e-learning and m-learning or mobile learning? Mobile learning is basically an offshoot of e-learning. E-learning is typically a structured time, a structured place, where mobile learning or m-learning can be at a different time, different place. It does not have to be in the same setting or at the same. Some of the advantages of m-learning are teaching those students those 21st century skills that we hear so much about, that they're going to need for the jobs once they reach graduation, collaboration, critical thinking skills, having the students take the information and then apply it in more project-based learning rather than just sitting passively listening to the teacher in the role of a lecturer. The teachers are asked to be more of a facilitator in this role, where they provide the students the means and the tools, and then where the students are more in charge or more personalizing their own learning, applying it along those lines. So the flipped lesson, where teachers could provide students with an article or with the video the night before. The students work on that the night before, and then when they come into class, they can either have a discussion about the article, or perhaps say in math, then if they have trouble with doing the math problems compared to the traditional method where the students are given the material in class and then they do the homework. So some other advantages of learning is that it allows students to apply those critical thinking skills, which are so necessary for the Common Core standards. It's not where the students are just sitting passively and being given the information, but students are then taking that information and then applying it in some type of project-based learning. They are collaborating with one another. The teacher is more of a facilitator compared to a lecturer in your more traditional classroom setting. So mobile learning is allowing students to take the information that they can access from credible sources, and they are becoming more independent thinkers, doing research, and then they are sharing their information, their new knowledge with their classmates and possibly with others to demonstrate their understanding of the topic. Some advantages of mobile learning. You can do the flipped classroom where the teacher can provide students with materials, an article the night before. Students read the article, and then in class the students can have a discussion where they can collaborate. Or perhaps if it's an algebra class or a math class, the teacher can have a video showing them how to do the steps of the problem, and then in class the teacher is acting more as a facilitator or checking for work compared to teaching the lesson in class and then having the students do the homework on their own by themselves. Mobile learning allows the students to collaborate with one another, to collaborate with the teacher. It allows for easier communication between the teacher and the students, and it most importantly allows for the students to apply those critical thinking skills by doing more project-based learning, doing the research of the information that's available to them through the internet and etc., and then presenting that information, sharing that information through blogs and forums, not just with their classmates, but with the outside world as well. So why should we bring a one-on-one initiative to our school? Where one-on-one has been implemented properly, the schools have seen an increase in attendance, they have seen an increase in their graduation rates, and they have seen an increase on achievement tests, particularly in the areas of literacy and in writing. Not to mention the students have increased their technology skills along with those 21st century skills that we've been talking about. There has also been a decrease in the amount of paperwork. There has been a decrease in the number of students who have received disciplinary actions, and there also has been a decrease in paper and copy maker costs, as well as a decrease in dropout rates. So those are some of the different studies that have been done, the results of some of the different studies that have been done that have shown these results of what a properly one-on-one initiative could do for our school and our students. Steps to successfully implement a one-on-one program in our school. The first one is going to seem somewhat contradictory, but we need to go slow in order to go fast later on. We need to make sure that we have the teachers and the community members, parents, school board members, etc. on board first in order to have full cooperation. We need to build our infrastructure. We need to make sure that our network is capable of handling every teacher, every student having a device and being on the network using various apps at the same time without any connection issues. We need to choose our platform carefully. We need to choose a platform that is going to meet the need of our students. So we need to get parent feedback, student feedback, and teachers' feedback on what they think would best work for our students. We need to budget accordingly, not just to budget for the cost of the devices, but we also need to budget for the cost of updating and maintaining our network at a speed that will handle all of our students and all of our teachers using devices at the same time. We also need to budget for professional development. Professional development needs to be first and foremost. Before the students get their devices, we need to give the teachers time to acclimate themselves to the devices and to be comfortable with the devices, and then we roll out the devices to the students. But then we still need to continue professional development. We need to provide pull-out sessions for the teachers if necessary. We need to give the teachers time to collaborate and to ask questions if we're going to have a successful implementation. In conclusion, a one-to-one initiative could do wonderful things for our school. It could increase our attendance rates. It could increase our graduation for our students. It could increase our scores. But I think perhaps most importantly is that we could also allow each student to personalize their own learning, to feel that as though they are connected to the community, as though they feel they are connected to their school, and that they have a say in their own learning. Thank you very much for listening.